sometimes the settings in which we work, sometimes the kind of work, sometimes the people we work with. You know, and of course, people who don't do this work do not understand also the rewarding aspect. Say, oh, how can you sit and listen to people complain all day? You say, it's not exactly like that. You know, it's a privilege to be with human beings. But still, we have to keep ourselves alive in this work. And sometimes we do get burned out. We get drained. We get exhausted, you know, and you sit and listen to people and interact with people all day, and you come home, and you don't want to deal with anything at home sometimes. You know, it's like, do not talk to me about problems. I've had it up to here with me. So how do you keep yourself alive in this work, in this life that we have? So that's what I hope to do, while giving you some more of this possibility therapy thinking about how do you approach people who are troubled and who are troubling and who are struggling. Most of the time they come in, you know, years ago I read this thing from the gonzo journalist Hunter Thompson. He said, I hate to recommend sex, drugs, and rock and roll, but they've always worked for me. And I thought that was so funny, but I have my own version of that. I hate to recommend breakdowns, but they've always worked for me to get me to the next place. So we're going to talk today about how to have a good breakdown. Because I think there are two kinds of breakdowns. There are ones that just wound and scar and shrink people. And we see a lot of that in our work. And then there are ones, and I bet a lot of you have gone through, life crises that you wouldn't recommend to people because they were pretty painful. But because of them, you ended up in a much better place. And the question that I hope to put on the table, and I'm going to give you my answer today, is what makes the difference between a breakdown that leads to growth and change, I call that post-traumatic success, to the ones that just lead to pain and heartache and shrinkage, I guess you might say, people getting smaller and more wounded and more vulnerable to hurt. So that's post-traumatic stress, right, which we see a fair amount of these days.